Welcome back to the Corporate Governance Program. I'm Amir Qureshi and we're speaking with the chairman of SECP, Mr. Raziur Rahman. Mr. Rahman, the relationship between the CEO and the board is often a tricky one. How do you think this relationship should be managed to protect all of the stakeholders? Do you think it's appropriate for the chairman and the president/CEO to be the same person?
Well, this is a very strange question because certainly the board of directors appoints the CEO. But as it sometimes happens, the differences do rise. I think the CEO has to work with the board. Board has to be understanding with the requirements of the CEO, and they have to work as a team. So while it's a difficult relationship, but I think it's a relationship that works as long as both the CEO and the board of directors realize what the responsibilities and requirements are. I think as far as the chairman of the board is concerned, he should be different to the CEO, and I think that's something which is world over is taking place. Whereas on the other hand, the American companies require the chairman to be the CEO. When you have a different CEO and a chairman, again conflict does arise, but it's something that we have to manage, and I think it's again evolving. Proper practice has to be developed from here.
One of the key questions that some of our guests have raised is whether or not Pakistan needs an oversight board for the auditing profession. Do you think it's time we follow the United States in regards to this and establish our own audit oversight board?
We've considered this question for quite some time. If you want an oversight board, the first question that was faced by us, who do we put on the oversight board? Where do we get the people? Where is the capacity that can play a right role in the oversight board? On due consideration and further discussions, we've come to the conclusion that we have a quality control review process through which all the work of ICAP and the members is reviewed for quality control. And we feel that by revamping that body, we will effectively do the same thing as an oversight board. And SCP is playing its role. We've revamped our own capacity in-house to be able to look at the ICAP work. And I think this is good enough as far as we're concerned.
Mr. Rahman, most of the people we've interviewed on this program seem to believe that it's time for the Code of Corporate Governance to be relooked at, revised, updated, and so on in view of the changes that have been taking place in our economy and internationally. Now, I understand the SECP is currently involved in updating of code in some shape or form. Could you please elaborate on that and tell me what the time frame is for a revised code to be brought in?
Well, we haven't got a time force. We have formed a committee which is looking at it. It's something that we are working on, needs to be changed. It's a dynamic, world is moving at a fast pace, and we have to keep up with the world. So there is a need to revamp the code, and we are working on it, and inshallah pretty soon we'll get to where we want to go.
Mr. Rahman, what, in your opinion, are the key areas that a revised Code of Corporate Governance should focus on?
I think the committee that's being formed for this purpose, obviously the responsibility of the board of members is very important. They are the custodians who have been placed there on account of the shareholders to protect their interests, all shareholders. And therefore there is an inherent responsibility that each board member has. And I think it's important that they realize what the responsibilities are, and the code is able to put enough importance on the board of directors so that all of them take the job seriously. In addition to this, professional management is a requirement. We cannot have the family-owned situation where the family puts their own sons and daughters into important positions. Only if they're qualified, then surely they can hold the job. But there has to be professional management. I think we have to move in that direction. The minority rights, their requirements have to be met with. I think that's another area where the code has to deal. And I think the most important thing is that the company's disclosure requirements are strengthened so that the shareholders looking at the accounts get a true picture of what the state of affairs of the company is. These are the few areas.
In addition to the legislation, Mr. Rahman, do you believe the SECP is doing enough to promote good corporate governance in Pakistan?
I think we we have a practice of monitoring, surveilling the company's practices in Pakistan, and we use our offices to ensure that they do follow these practices. So I think that role is necessary for SCP, and we are doing a job. We have certain capacity limitations, but we are getting around it by hiring new people. But SCP has also taken a step at being a better corporate citizen itself, and now you'd notice from the last 2 years we are publishing our accounts, which SCP never did. We are also producing accounts much earlier, and we are publicizing them so that the public can see, institutions and the public can see what the SCP's results are and how they're managing their affairs.
Mr. Rahman, thank you very much for being part of the Corporate Governance Program and helping us to address some of the issues raised by many of our guests in the past few episodes. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
That was Mr. Raziur Rahman, the Chairman of Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, SECP. And it was really good to get the regulator's perspective on corporate governance legislation and the state of corporate governance in Pakistan. We are grateful that he took the time out to join us for this special interview. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our program today. This is Amir Qureshi saying, until next time, take care.